Islam is a Nazi, genocidal cult, fascist cult.
Like Christianity, we need to go through a fight.
Islam,
What do you mean by fascist?
well, totalitarian,
Okay.
don't care about giving you rights.
Okay.
For example, if you stand in Mecca today and if you say anything bad about Islam, well, take it as a guarantee.
It is totalitarianism, but not all totalitarianism is fascist, right?
Yeah, in this particular case, this is, this is clearly fascist.
Okay.
In the sense of totalitarian is meant to be a milder version of fascism.
Right, yeah.
But Islam is a totally insane version.
Okay.
You know, it's a qualified, bona fide, 100% nutcase, brain damaged religion. To an extent.
Why do you say that?
Well, because.
What do you establish that?
Okay, let me give you some. If you take this book,
Right.
fold its paper somewhere,
Right.
and showcase that to some Muslims, do you know what would happen to you?
They probably hit you or something.
And that's maybe the starting point. Do you know where it'll all lead you to? Ultimately,
I wouldn't like to guess.
I'll tell you. Hey, one second. I'll tell you.
Okay.
There was a gentleman in Sweden. I forget his exact name, Salman Momakin or someone.
Okay.
Who came from Syria, who fled Syria, being someone who criticized Islam, and he went to Sweden,
Okay.
got refuge in Sweden,
Right.
settled there. He burnt a copy of this book.
Right.
This is junk.
Okay.
You know, I would have said use this as toilet tissue.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
You wouldn't, but I would.
Okay.
Because I've read this and I think, you know what, maybe the paper you can use, but not the content inside. But he burned the Quran. He burned the Quran.
Right.
You know what happened to him?
did somebody shoot him or something?
Yeah, they shot him.
Yeah.
Shot him dead just a couple of months ago.
It's a sign of totalitarianism. They don't like criticism, isn't it?
Exactly. Draw a little, try this here if you like, but don't try. Don't try.
That, no.
Take a paper, draw something, and call that Muhammad. See what happens.
Yeah.
Nutcases, all these, they appear like they are educated people.
Well, you know what's going to happen.
You know what's going to happen. They have all suits and everything else. They show up at Speaker's Corner, and they appear like they are educated people.
Okay.
But they can't stand a simple, act where you think that you are drawing someone who is their beloved Mickey Mouse Muhammad. They'll kill you.
Yeah.
Does this sound like
Really
totalitarian?
weird.
Does this sound like fascism to you?
I don't think it's even in the Quran to kill people.
Oh, no. Please don't make wrong decisions, my dear friend.
It's a long time since I read the translation of it, so I don't know.
I am telling you very simply, you can read Surah 2,
Yeah.
Surah 3, Surah 4, Surah 5. In Surah 2, you'll find out how to kill.
I'm not saying that killing for making an image of Muhammad, I'm saying, is not
Muhammad.
in the Quran.
Yeah, Muhammad, if you want to read what place you need to place Muhammad in, I can't remember the exact chapter, but there is an entire chapter devoted to how you behave near Muhammad at that time.
Right, okay.
And it's not a good thing,
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that even with our king here.
Yeah, but Muhammad was a horrific person. He was a paedophile and a murderer.
Absolutely.
And a slave.
In other words, no wonder they want to protect him,
Yeah.
because without their nasty protection, of course, he is going to go down the drain.
It's about cultural identity as well, which is difficult to
No.
give up,
This is
right?
serious brain damage. This is brainwashing, brain damage. Islam ultimately is a murderous death cult.
Yeah.
It's a murderous death cult. The only reason they are not killing, some of these people aren't killing right now, is because they know they can't get away with it today.
Right, yeah.
At the right time, here, right now. But even here, there have been murder attempts. I don't know if you're aware of this. Even here, there was knife attack.
Okay.
Someone, a wonderful Christian sister, was stabbed.
Okay.
And
She killed?
she, thankfully, through God, she's a Christian here. Through God's grace, she didn't die.
Okay, great.
Through God's grace. But Muslims actually went with the knife.
What, just
Made
because
co-
she was saying things against the Quran or something?
Well, yeah, she criticized Islam, and this is what happened to her. Anyway. So that's her. And there was another person an English convert to Islam. You can check it up when you go home. Edward Little
Okay.
is his name. Edward Little, from what I remember, he was convicted of terrorism, of attempted murder, planning to buy a submachine gun and come to Speaker's Corner and shoot people down.
What, for criticising Islam?
Yeah, he's an English convert, but clearly didn't want. He wanted to Mullahu Akbar, shout his Mullahu Akbar slogan, and get his 72 slaves.
I agree with you. It does clearly sanction violence against non-believers.
And violence is the ultimate best form of Islam according to the Quran.
Okay, does it say that?
Oh, of course. In the Quran, it actually says. I won't take the trouble to show you that now, but I can give you the reference later.
Believe you.
But in the Quran, it actually says, more than even doing all the other religious activity like praying, better is going around killing.
I agree with you now. That's insane, isn't it?
Absolutely insane.
What sort of idea of God is that? That killing people for saying wrong things is a good thing?
I'll tell you what idea this is. Jesus said this marvelous statement. Jesus said, the devil comes to kill, steal and destroy. Kill.
That's right, yeah.
But I have come that you may have life and life in abundance.
So Muslims can't be worshipping Jesus then,
Exactly. Whoever they're worshipping clearly is an anti-Jesus figure.
Yeah, that's right.
An anti-biblical God figure.
Just because you say you worship Jesus doesn't mean you do, right?
Exactly.
You've got to follow his teachings.
Exactly.
Or not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in other words, are you a Christian yourself?
Yeah, I am a Christian.
Praise, that's
right?
lovely.
Right.
That's lovely. Being a Christian is marvelous. And with the Bible, we have Abrahamic religions, the Old Testament, New Testament. I pray and I engage with Jews, not here, maybe online, for Jews to see the fact that Jesus is the true Messiah. But we can have that sensible conversation.
Yeah.
Non-violent.
Right, exactly.
Friendly.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Robust conversation. We can disagree. We can disagree for months if we like.
Okay.
But we can still discuss.
Yeah.
That's what we do, and that's what we do with the biblical religions. With the Quran, though, if anyone tells you it's an Abrahamic religion, say no.
Why not though? Because it's monotheistic, right? And
No, it isn't. This is a fake. It's like I'll give you a simple example. Rolex watch.
Yeah.
Some of the I don't know how much Rolex watches sell for, but if you take one of the costlier
10 grand, say.
Yeah, whatever. But if you have
More than I can afford.
much more than what I can afford right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, but if clearly there would be fake.
Yeah.
Fake versions.
Right. Okay.
Now, would anyone ever say the fake version is the one you would pay £10,000?
Well, only if you're stupid, right?
Exactly. So Islam is that to the Bible. The Bible is true God. Islam is a fake version. Everything about Islam is fake. It wants to be like the Bible, but clearly it can't be. There is nothing here which is remotely like the Bible. If at all anything, it is contra Bible over and over again.
Except it does sort of have Jesus in it and doing miracles
It doesn't.
and stuff.
No. The Jesus that is here is not the historical Jesus, not the Jesus of the Bible.
Okay.
This is a fake Isa.
Yeah,
This is an Islamic.
It's a Gnostic version of Jesus. Isn't it?
Partly, it's a Muslim version for which there exists no evidence. It's a Muslim, much more than Gnostic.
You're right. There's no evidence in Islam for its claims, is there?
It claims all sorts of weird and wonderful things about Jesus which are not true. Ultimately, its aim is to discredit the true Rolex, so the false Rolex, the fake Rolex could sell.
Okay.
We should be able to be alert and
See
say,
what
look,
you mean, discredit Christianity so that people will believe Islam, but
exactly. Exactly.
Jesus is the truth, and Islam, as far as it differs from Jesus, is the false. Right?
And about 95% of this book is contra the Bible. So time for us to stand up and say this is utter nonsense, utter junk, bin it, wherever you want to put this, in a useless place. And for us to march on with our precious Lord Jesus.
Okay, very good, yes.
Absolutely. We need to get everyone to become Christians, including the Muslims. Before they turn to be murderers, we need to help them see light and say, look, dear friends, don't follow your Muhammad. It isn't going to lead you.
A few of them are going to be violent now, isn't it?
No. At the right opportunity, right now, we won't have a clue as to how many of these would turn violent. Right now?
I think it depends on circumstances, doesn't it?
Exactly. In the right, if all of these were to show up in Islamic State, if we give them safe passage and say, look, Islamic State is a thing now, You know, you can be there, you're going to be safe. We won't come and fight against you in Islamic State. You can be there and do whatever you want, and we'll give you safe passage from here to there. Then we will know how many of these are truly peaceful.
Yeah.
Most of these fellows, based on my experience, I can say, I don't want to, maybe if I could give a guesstimate, I would say 95%. Even those who don't want to go, I'm only thinking, well, is it really true? Is that a true offer? Or, is there a catch somewhere? But everyone else would fly away. All of these nutters. Most, you know how many left our nation.
No.
Medical doctors. Students of medical universities left the UK to go to Islamic State. Remember when Islamic State?
Okay.
Hundreds went. Hundreds left from...
They're following the Quran, aren't they, when they do
Exactly.
that?
They're not just following the Quran, they were also the more maverick. There's less maverick are stuck here. The less maverick are here because they were a little bit less averse to risk, these fellows.
But if I was a Muslim, I would say, so what evidence do you have that the words of Jesus in the Bible are the actual real words of Jesus?
Well, I can, this is where I can give you, it's an incremental case to be made.
It's a rhetorical question. I know what I would say, but I'm wondering what you would say.
Well, we have every historical evidence to suggest that what we have in the New Testament, in the Gospels especially, are historically accurate, not necessarily verbatim.
Such as what? Give us an example.
Oh, the documentary evidence for the person of Jesus Christ and...
Such as what, sorry?
Such as the New Testament documents. The manuscriptal evidence for the New Testament documents.
So, I could get argumentative, but I won't.
But that's fine. Maybe we'll keep that discussion for a later time.
Another time, yeah.
But if you can email me on YouTube. Our channel is called Operation Stephen with a PH.
Okay, Operation Stephen.
That's right. Simple to remember.
Just one word?
2 words. Okay. Operation space Stephen.
Are you Stephen?
No, my name is Arul, but this is after the first Christian martyr, Stephen.
Okay.
But if you go there, open any of the video recordings there, you should find the email address.
I'll look you up, yeah.
And you can email and we'll get in touch.
Okay, my name's Grant, so if
Grant, it's lovely.
All right.
Please email and we'll get in touch.
Right.
And any of your challenging questions.
Remind me of your name again?
My name is Arul.
Arul, okay.
Arul, A-R-U-L.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, nice to
Lovely.
meet you, Arul.
Good to see you, Grant. God's blessings. God's blessings, absolutely. Have a good rest of the evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And don't get into trouble with the Muslim fellows.
No.
They're clueless fellows.
I don't want to get stabbed.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's sensible.